longer than middle-aged. It is ladies' night at Great American Ballpark tonight, and the ladies here to enjoy some baseball and obviously hoping for some winning baseball. And for the ladies, Mother Nature cooperating. A beautiful night for baseball. After some late afternoon rain, the skies have cleared. And it's the third game of this four-game series between the San Diego Padres and the Cincinnati Reds. And hi again, everybody, alongside the Hall of Fame nominee of the Reds, the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome to Reds Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Congratulations, my friend. We wish you good luck in the balloting.
Thank you.
Sooner or later, I know you'll be in here, hopefully sooner rather than later. Aaron Harang, sooner rather than later. He needs to get things better sooner rather than later. That has been his story really the entire year.
It has, Tom, and a lot of it has to do with how things start in the ball game. For Aaron Harang, in his last start, he retired 9 batters in a row. A lot of it was because he was using the inside part of the plate. One swing of the bat, he went away from the inside part of the plate. Things went downhill from there. Hopefully he'll learn from that last start. Pitch inside, establish inside. It makes everything better as the game goes on.
Well, you look at the first time through the lineup, and bear in mind now, these are the 5 highest batting averages against among all starting pitchers in the league, with a minimum of 120 innings pitched.
Well, I think when you look at that, that is a severe indictment on the game plan that these guys have going into the ball game. It's about execution, but it's also about the game plan as you go in there. This was supposed to be a strength of this ball club, and it has turned into a weakness.
Our chief pitching matchup tonight, it starts with Aaron Harang. He has not won amazingly since the 25th of May. 0-7 with an ERA over 5 since then. On the other side of the ledger, the Reds get their first look tonight at Matt Latos, and look at his numbers through single-A and double-A, 1-1 with a big league club.
Well, from what I hear about Matt Latos, this is a guy that's going to come right at you. He's got a high-end fastball in the upper 90s, and kid is not afraid of anything. He's going to throw the fastball. He's going to come directly at you. He's still got a lot to learn, obviously. He's given up 3 home runs in just his first 9 innings, but we're going to see some electricity tonight.
Well, one guy that'll be facing Latos, Joey Votto, trying to reach the number of plate appearances to win a batting title. We'll talk about that in a moment.
or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Still about 5 minutes away from the first pitch tonight. The Reds and the Padres. Joey Votto once again in the starting lineup. And we have received a number of emails and text messages asking, you know, when will Joey Votto's name show up on the National League leaderboard in the batting race? Well, let's start with just the requirements to be batting title eligible. You need 3.1 plate appearances. Obviously, that includes walks or reaching via an error, whatever the case may be. You multiply that by 162 games, it comes out to be 502 plate appearances. So what does Votto need to do to qualify to reach those numbers? 224 to get to 502. Right now stands at 278. So, Jeff, you know, he's averaging 4 plate appearances per game. He needs a little bit less than that to get there. A safe bet, good Lord willing, he doesn't get hurt, that he will be there.
I think that he will. And the thing about that, averaging 4, if the Reds score more, he gets to come to the plate more. So it's not about at bats where you walk or you get hit by a pitch or an error. It's just coming to that plate with a baseball bat in your hand. I think he can do that.
And Votto, by the way, goes into play tonight batting .348. He would be tied with Hanley Ramirez. Oh, what a player that guy is. Oh, for the Florida Marlins. That guy is something. Aaron Harang, due for a win. We know that. He'll take the ball, all the action right around the bend. Baseball on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Chrysler. Chrysler, engineered beautifully. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Dodge, grab life. By Just for Men, stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. And by Skyline Chili, you know it's Skyline time when you get that hunkering for a Skyline 3-way or cheese coney. What's amazing, the way the weather turned around. It was pouring down rain about 4:30 this afternoon.
Almost blew me off the road.
And all that stuff blew right on out of here. And it is a picture perfect night. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Look at that little fella. Got the best seat in the house, doesn't he, Cowboy?
Yes, he does. Right in Daddy's lap.
And of course, tonight is a ladies' night. Those caps given away from the folks at Dove Chocolate, the Dove Chocolate Reds hat with the pink C on it.
I'm going to have to get me a few of those. I got a few gals at my house.
Let's take a look at San Diego's lineup tonight for Game 3 of this series. Tony Gwynn in center field, David Eckstein at second, Adrian Gonzalez at first, Kevin Kuzminoff again at third. You see the numbers for Gonzalez against Aaron Harang. They are very, very good. Chase Headley in left field, about fifth. Kyle Blanks in right. Eliezer Alfonso behind the plate. Everett Cabrera, the shortstop. And Matt Latos making his third major league start. Aaron Harang, his 22nd start of the year, a 5-11 record. An ERA at 4.25. The league hitting nearly 300 against him.
I think you look at Aaron Harang and you see a guy that has every bit of the tools that he needs to go out and win on each given day, regardless of who the opponent is. The big thing for Harang right now is to forget about what's going on offensively and just concentrate on what he has to do on the mound. That's throw strikes, keep the guys from diving out over the plate, and make pitches each and every batter.
Take a look at the Reds defensively, presented by Ford. One change from last night. Jerry Hairston Jr. in left, Tavares in center, Gomes in right, Gonzalez and Phillips up the middle, Encarnacion and Votto on the corners. Harang and Tatum again the battery. Dr. Timothy Krenchek again re-examining Ryan Hannigan, and we're expected to hear some news, some update on his condition. He's missed now 6 straight games with a bad neck.
Yeah, he had a real tough time in Chicago. He couldn't even move it.
So here we go. Tony Gwynn digging in. 288 batter with a home run and 9 runs batted in. At strike one, this game is underway. We brought it up last night. We are not privy to the inside on what's going on, or perhaps what's not going on, as far as whether or not the Reds are going to be active leading up to the trade deadline. 48 hours away now. That ball popped up into foul ground, and Encarnacion makes the catch one away. But with all the speculation going on, not as much here, but in other cities around baseball, primarily in New York, in regards to the New York Yankees and their interest in Aaron Harang, one can certainly ask the question, with some level of viability, would this be Aaron Harang's final start as a Cincinnati Red?
Well, it could be. I mean, as much as there's been talk about starting pitching and lack thereof out there, I mean, you hear it on both coasts, both for the Angels in Anaheim, and you also hear of it in New York.
The Yankees have 2 of their scouts here. They were here to watch Bronson Arroyo last night and Aaron Harang tonight. One of those scouts, of course, worked for the Reds for many, many years. We brought his name up last night. A Cincinnati native, Tim Naring.
Being a director of player development for this organization for a while, he pretty much knows everybody from top to bottom.
You're right about that.
And not only knows them from a physical standpoint, for the most of the kids, he knows them about their makeup inside and out.
1-2 on Eckstein. And that's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes to David Eckstein. Activated off the disabled list was Eckstein, along with Henry Blanco before the game last night. Eckstein on the 15-day DL. Played for the first time since July the 6th after straining a hamstring. Soft liner into right field, and it's off the body of Johnny Gomes. And Eckstein will motor in to second base with a double.
Boy, Gomes just got in trouble right there, got in between on the bounce, and even though the sunshine has come out, the grass is still a little damp out there in the outfield, and you can see this ball skip right as it hits the ground and just pop right into the wrist of Johnny Gomes, and off to the side it goes.
The Reds did make a deal earlier today, trading right-hander Robert Manuel to the Seattle Mariners in exchange for Vladimir Valentin. Valentin's 25 years old, has played in 56 games this year for the Mariners. 37 of those starts. And over the last 3 years has played in 130 games for Seattle. Was not swinging a very good bat. We'll see if the change of scenery changes his batting. 0-1 on Adrian Gonzalez. Showed you those numbers against Aaron Harang a bit earlier. He has 27 home runs this season, hit number 27 in fact last night, to go along with 57 runs batted in. And we told you last night, playing in that monster ballpark, Petco Park out in San Diego, Gonzalez trying to make it 3 straight years of hitting 30 or more home runs. He's hit 60 home runs on the road, 33 at home. Driven in a deep left field, and this one is gone. A 2-run home run by Gonzalez, so change that number to 61 home runs away from Petco Park. And the first inning woes continue for the Reds and for Aaron Harang. 2-0 San Diego.
That's an awfully good sock right there from a left-handed hitter to be able to take that high fastball and drive it the other way. Most left-handed hitters take that pitch and try to pull it. Gonzalez out over the plate. A lot of guys don't even swing at that pitch, and he hits it in the seats.
28 home runs ties Gonzalez for second most in the National League, with Arizona infielder Mark Reynolds. Of course, they trail Albert Pujols of the Cardinals, who has 34, and there you see the road home runs. We were talking about Gonzalez last night. You put him on practically any other team in Major League Baseball, and this guy would be clubbing 45 to 50 home runs per year. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
And his RBI production would accelerate with it. The ballpark they play in, like the Grand Canyon.
Indeed. Swing and a miss by Kevin Kuzminoff. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One final in from the National League Central earlier today. The Cubbies blast Houston. Final count in a shutout win for Chicago. Randy Wells, their rookie, who pitched so well against the Reds last week, delivers another solid performance today. There's a base hit into left field by Kuzminoff. That's a 3rd straight hit after Harang retired Gwynn to begin the ball game.
This is another fastball up in the strike zone, trying to get this 2-seamer to run, but Harang is more of a 4-seam fastball guy, and the more he throws that 2-seamer, the more the ball seems to elevate on him.
Chase Headley at 232 with 9 home runs and 36 runs batted in. By the way, that Cub final over Houston today was 12-0. Wells 8 innings of 6-hit shutout baseball. Two and 0. The big story trade-wise today in baseball, again zeroed in on the Philadelphia Phillies. It's been rumored for better than a week that they were in hot pursuit of Toronto ace Roy Halladay. That trade did not occur. There's a 4-pitch walk to Headley. Instead, the Phillies turned their attention to Cleveland left-hander Cliff Lee, the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner, and they got him, along with outfielder Ben Francisco, for 4 prospects. The Pirates trading away shortstop Jack Wilson, who recently turned down a contract extension offer from the Bucks, along with right-hander Ian Snell, to Seattle for 5 players.
That may be one of the better trades that the Pirates have made in a long time, because they got young players that can play.
4 straight batters have reached against Aaron Harang, including a 2-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez. And here's Kyle Blanks with 2 on and 1 out. 0-1 the count on blanks. Hammered a country mile, and it is 5-0 San Diego.
You can talk about all you want about making mechanical adjustments and making different pitches. But the bottom line is this is not the Aaron Harang that we saw a year and a half ago. All of his pitches up in the strike zone. I mean, this never happened to him before. His first 2 years he was in a Reds uniform. He loaded up that backside. Boy, he was coming with that heater. And it was 93, 94. And now that he's gone to this different direction of trying to sink the ball and drop that arm angle a little bit, the ball's up, the velocity's down, and the ERA is heading towards the sky.
Strike one to Eliezer Alfonso. A 198 batter, 2 home runs, 8 runs batted in. Padres, the first 2 games of this series, hitting with runners in scoring position. They were 3 for 19. A little bit different tale tonight. 2 for 2 with 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. And you know, Cowboy, you brought it up the last couple of nights. We talked about it just a few moments before the ball game got started. The 5 highest batting averages against among all National League starting pitchers the first time through the batting order. 3/5 are in the Cincinnati Reds rotation. Aaron Harang, Bronson Arroyo go 1 and 2. And number 5 is Johnny Cueto. And you brought up game plan. What does that mean? Explain that. You brought it up last night.
When you go through the scouting report, the lineup, how you're going to pitch to certain guys on the opposition, you go through that and you have to figure out how you're going to get those guys out, not just the first time through, but the second and third times through. We'll go back to this when we come right back.
A 5-run opening inning for the Padres. The Reds again forced to play catch up. Reds down 5-0. Their lineup reads as follows. Willie Taveras leads off in center. Jerry Hairston Jr. in left. Joey Votto at first. Brandon Phillips, a cleanup hitter. Johnny Gomes, so far so good in this series in right. Edwin Encarnacion at third. A ladder third of Alex Gonzalez, Craig Tatum, and Aaron Harang. Reds get their first look at rookie right-hander Matt Latos, making his third major league start. A 1-1 record, an ERA at 3.7, and his numbers in the minor leagues at first single-A and then double-A dominant.
Well, he has got a high-end fastball, and he likes to use it. He's going to challenge the hitters. He throws the ball in the mid-90s. He's got a breaking ball, not so much made for throwing strikes with a breaking ball, but it's a two-strike pitch. And for him right now, that's why he's given up some home runs early, because he's throwing a lot of heaters, and the breaking ball is not usually across the plate.
So Willie Taveras trying to get things started in the Reds' first inning. Looks at a first pitch fastball at 96 miles per hour. Strike one. Mercy. Willie, a .243 batter with a home run and 14 driven in, has 21 stolen bases. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. A weak pop up into foul territory. Easy for Gonzalez. The Reds defensively. You saw them a moment ago. How about San Diego, presented by Ford? Headley, Gwynn, and Blanks in the outfield. Blanks already a home run tonight. So too for Adrian Gonzalez. A battery of Latos and Alfonso.
Turned into an awfully nice night.
Latos only 21 years old. In his third season in the Padres organization, was an 11th round draft choice back in 2006. And this year went to big league spring training for the first time. He was named their #2 prospect in the organization by Baseball America. There's a lazy fly ball into right, and just like that, the young man's retired the first 2 batters of the game.
Well, he's tall and lean, 6'6", 225. And when you talk about angle on the baseball, you're using the mound in order to get some height where you're throwing the ball downhill. Well, being 6'6" and having the kind of fastball that Latos has, he's throwing downhill even more so because of his height and because of the velocity on the heater. That makes it that much tougher for a hitter to pick the ball up, and less time that the ball spins as it comes across the plate.
Now Joey Votto with a 1-0 count. Started 2, laid off, 2 balls and no strikes. So Latos was born in Alexandria, Virginia, but he grew up in Florida. Went to Coconut Creek, Florida High School, and then attended Broward Community College. That's where the Padres drafted him out of in 2006. Rolled over foul. 2-1 to Joey Votto.
You watch Latos as he comes through. He's got a little funny leg kick right in here that takes him away from the normal job, but you can see him as he throws the ball downhill. When you throw downhill, it really only lets the ball stay in the strike zone for a very limited time. The ball doesn't spend a whole lot of time in the strike zone. You see it as an elevated pitch. By the time you hit it, it's even further down. And awfully difficult to square.
Boy, I tell you, as these players get younger and younger, and it seems like it's primarily those that come from the real sunny climates, whether it be California or Florida or Texas, it seems more and more of them have tattoos all over their body. That ball lined into deep right center field, and a diving play made by Tony Gwynn will end the inning. End of 1 from Great American Ballpark. San Diego in front 5-0. Games brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Let's start on offense. Wanted some hits. Reds have been very quiet outside of the home run ball, the opening game of this series, and also wanted, how about getting off the schneid? You know all about that, don't you, Cowboy, getting off the schneid?
I've been there. If you don't pitch inside, you stay on the schneid. That's the way I look at it.
It's pretty good.
Well, we were talking about game plan earlier and lack thereof for some of the Reds pitchers, or all of them for that matter, that are from the starting side. In order for you to have the proper game plan, you have to go over each and every hitter with your catcher and with your pitching coach. You decide how you're going to pitch certain guys and what guys you're going to allow to swing the bat that you're going to challenge in certain situations. And a guy in a lineup, particularly in this lineup with the Padres, that would be Adrian Gonzalez, that you're not going to let beat you in certain situations. For a starting pitcher, he's got to start the ball game with some semblance of effective pitching on the inside part of the plate. He's the one that sets up the ball game. If you don't go inside, then you're going to have hitters all night long getting out over the plate and hitting the breaking ball. You see that fastball from Aaron Harang, that's got some hop to it up in the strike zone. But in order to have a great game plan and to set up the ball game not only for yourself but for the guys that come after you, the starting pitcher has got to use both sides of the plate. You've got to pitch inside, and then you've got to go to your strength. That's for Aaron Harang, and that's down and away. You can't pitch down and away if you don't ever go in.
All right, then let's start off, for example, just with the first couple of hitters in the San Diego lineup. And I know you weren't down there in a meeting with Craig Tatum and Dick Pohl, but, you know, from what you've been able to see in the San Diego lineup through the first couple of games, you'd start with Tony Gwynn and say, what? Here's how we're going to attack this guy.
You're going to try to throw him hard at his hands. If you're going to get ahead with a strike, it's going to be a breaking ball that's off the plate away. He's trying to shoot the ball the other way, so you want to slow down that bat a little bit so he rolls over it and not give him anything hard that's out over the plate. Hard in, soft away.
Okay, and where that game plan perhaps could go astray
is when you don't execute as a pitcher. Or if you're trying to go inside as Aaron was there and the ball runs back over the plate and the guy smokes it out of the ballpark. Well, then that's not the game plan fault. That's your fault as a pitcher.
But where does it become a game plan fault?
When you don't have the proper information to go into the ball game with, to use when you set up a lineup or how you're going to face a certain lineup. The individual scouting report for each and every player.
1-2 the count on Tony Gwynn. I would imagine getting a quote-unquote really good read on some teams is easier than it is for other teams, and I only suggest that because, you know, when you face the Philadelphia Phillies, for example, I mean, there's going to be very little variation to their lineup than what you've seen over the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, they are a veteran club that has been built with primarily the same group of guys year after year after year. Now, with the San Diego team, nothing could be further from the truth than that, because since we just saw them last in mid-May, almost every position except for first base and second base and third base, there's a different body out there.
You're right. But when you look at 3 different pitchers, let's say Harang, Arroyo, and Cueto, they're all different in the stuff that they bring to the table each and every day. So one day Aaron Harang may be able to throw the ball 95 miles an hour. Well, you're going to use your fastball a lot more that day. But there's going to be some times where you're not going to have that good fastball, or you're not going to have the proper location. You got to go something else. The game plan has to change.
Fly ball to center field, and they're 2 away here in the second inning.
And just like raising your kids, every pitcher's different. Every child is different. You don't use the same type of discipline for every single child or encouragement for every single child. Some things have to change, and that's the same thing with pitchers or with individuals. Everybody's different.
David Eckstein, the batter, with 2 out and nobody on. Were you a disciplined, challenged child?
I don't think so.
Were you a problem, for mom and dad?
No, I was not. No. I said yes, sir, and no, sir, and I followed.
Well, I mean, you can say all that stuff, but I mean, the question is then, like a pitcher, did you go out and execute that game plan?
I tried to.
Just want to check. I know people ask me about that all the time.
But I mean, when I can remember being in the meetings in the big leagues, and they would say, okay, this guy doesn't like the changeup. Well, I didn't have a changeup. So what good was that game plan for me? We're going to go after this guy with changeup. Well, I don't have a changeup. So every player has to have some game plan or some form of attack individualized for him. Otherwise, you just got a bunch of mess.
1-2 to David Eckstein, who started the hit parade in that 5-run first inning after Harang had retired the leadoff man. Eckstein doubled to right. Gonzalez homered. Kuzminov singled. Headley walked. Blanks 3-run home run. Left side, Encarnacion. A strike to Votto and a good bounce back second for Aaron Harang. Reds trail 5-0. Field when you come to Great American Ballpark. If a Reds player hits this Tundra sign or the one in right center field, a lucky fan will win that Toyota Tundra. Register for your chance to win during an upcoming game at your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Pete Rose here again tonight as he was last night. Peter Edwards, the hit king.
We got to get some emails in that commissioner's office.
I mean, it's a very, very strange set of circumstances which have occurred over the last 72 hours. On Monday, longtime New York baseball writer Bill Madden comes out with the story that Bud Selig is perhaps going to change his mind about allowing Pete Rose to be reinstated and be eligible for the Hall of Fame. Words over the weekend. We talked about him last night, starting with Henry Aaron saying it's time to let Pete back in as Phillips rolls 1 to second for the first out of the inning. Further support thrown behind Rose by the likes of Frank Robinson and Joe Morgan and Reggie Jackson and on and on. And then this morning in the New York Daily News, the same writer Bill Madden writes that there is absolutely not a sliver of truth to that, and that Bud Selig is no more reconsidering a change in policy on Pete Rose than he was a week ago.
How does that happen?
We wondered the same thing sitting around having dinner tonight. How would that have started, and how would it have done a 180 in less than 48 hours?
Somebody tells the writer that. The writer writes it. Hall of Famers get upset. They call the commissioner's office. Commissioner calls writer. Writer writes retraction. How about that?
Probably right.
Fans in Cincinnati send massive amounts of emails to commissioner's office. Rose reinstated 7/30/09. Cowboy out.
Grounded foul by Johnny Gomes. Were you a big? You remember when that song came out about truckers and using the CB radios? Like Breaker 19. Were you big into that whole thing when that came out? Remember that song? That was a huge hit. That song.
Yes, I was.
Convoy was the name of that song. Gone swinging is Johnny Gomes. Did you have a CB radio?
I did.
In your car?
Not in the car.
Okay, at home.
At home.
Okay, did you jump on that thing? What was your breaker? Cowboy? Wasn't then. It wasn't Cowboy then. What was it then? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Oh, come on.
I really don't. I don't remember. I don't even know what I used. Probably Jeff. I was like 10 or 9. Talking to the truckers. I actually did have one in my car. I take that back. I did. I was on that thing all the time. Truckers would get mad, boy. Kid, get off of there. We're doing business out here.
That Convoy, that song was 1975. So you'd have been about 12 then when that song was big, right? Number 1 in the USA.
C.W. McConnell.
It started a big fad for the CB, the Citizens Band radio. It's good stuff. The high Papa. And breaker 19. That's a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the third. 5-0 San Diego. Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. By JTM Food, Family Fun JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Jeep, have fun out there. Jeep. Ah, yes. Our friends from Penn Station, kind enough to feed the crew tonight. So if they're a little slow to the trigger tonight, Jim Strickler up here in the booth.
Solid.
That belt doesn't quit quite fit the same as it did before he came to the ballpark. Found out a play by Adrian Gonzalez. What'd you have? Do you have a Philly cheesesteak?
I had a chicken Philly cheesesteak.
How was it?
It was very nice.
Ooh-wee. Lined into right field. That's a base hit by Adrian Gonzalez. He homered his first time up. And a leadoff single his next time up. We'll get to Great American Ballpark early this Saturday for the Reds and the Rockies. The first 20,000 fans in attendance received that picturesque keepsake frame photo of Great American Ballpark back from opening day, courtesy of Loth. For tickets to Saturday's game and any game, call 381-REDS or visit reds.com. We've got a good friend of the telecast coming up to visit tonight. University of Cincinnati Bearcat football head coach Brian Kelly. Yes, sirree. Getting ready to enter his third year as the head man of the Bearcats. 22-6.
Got it working.
His first 2 years, including a trip to a BCS game for the first time in school history. Last year went to the FedEx Orange Bowl. Harang will get to it. Plants, throws. Nice play to get Kuzman off. And advancing on to second base is Gonzalez. One away in the inning.
This play looks easy, awfully difficult, especially for a big guy like Harang. You got to get off the mound, get your body turned around, and still throw a strike while all of your body weight is going back towards the third base bag. And as a pitcher, everything feels like it's in fast forward when you get to the baseball. Armored cars and tanks and jeeps and rigs of every size, and 11 long-haired friends of Jesus and a chartreuse. How do you like my name?
All those words came racing back into the memory, right?
Well, you just showed up.
Pitch taken outside. That was the song Convoy. We were talking about the last half inning. I wonder if Brian Kelly, you know, he grew up in the Northeast. I don't know if that Convoy song, now he's old enough to remember it, but I don't know if that was much the rage up in the Northeast like it was a little more so in the South and across the heartland.
Yeah, with the Jimmy Holland Hogs, I don't think that'd be good downtown Manhattan.
We'll ask him about it. 1-2 to count on Chase Headley. Runner at second, one out. Fastball up and away. Boy, the excitement created around this town during college football season last year was just unbelievable. Bearcats back-to-back years have won 10 or more games. I'll tell you what, a lot of the preseason publications already have them ranked in the top 15 for this upcoming year. There's a swing and a miss. Chase Headley gone on strikes, and that's the second of the game for Aaron Harang.
This is where you load up the backside and you come right at a hitter. This is the kind of pitch that I'm talking about that we see from Aaron Harang. That ball is down. It's got some juice on it, and the ball is in the mitt before the hitter even gets the bat towards the baseball. Load it up, let it fly right on the money.
Strike one to Kyle Blanks, who clubbed a massive 3-run home run to the upper portion of the upper deck in left field his first time up. Tell you what, Brian Kelly using 10 starters on defense from last year. He might want to talk that young man into coming to play defensive tackle. We'll talk Bearcat football with Coach Brian Kelly when we come back. by Brian Kelly, the head football coach of the University of Cincinnati. And I tell you what, Brian, having a chance to cover your game and be a part of the FedEx Orange Bowl last year, I mean, it was so exciting. I did everything I could to be non-biased. But, I mean, congratulations on a great year.
Thank you, Ed. But, you know, it's like anything else. What have you done for me lately? That was last year. And we certainly enjoyed it. It was great for the city. It was great for football, college football in Cincinnati. But, you know, we've got to continue to do this. So we're back hard at work. Staff reported today. The kids come in 10 days, and we're back on 2009 already.
It's hard to believe. Your season opener, I mean, is just a little more than a month away.
Yeah, we open up on Labor Day, which is a little bit later than we're used to, September the 7th. And we open with Rutgers, conference opponent. So we're getting at it right away. No preseason games for us. We got to go play right away, and they all count.
You know, I wanted to ask you about that because I was stunned when the schedule was released and it came out. And I know television obviously has so much to do with a lot of that now. Sure. And as a conference, when you get involved with a certain network, when all of a sudden they want to try to do this or do that. And you've been very open to playing anybody, anywhere, anytime. Illinois on the schedule, I know, this year, late in the year. But back to the Rutgers game. Good thing, bad thing? It's just the way it is.
You know, again, you'd like the opportunity to play some of those young kids early, get their feet wet, and kind of move from there. The fact of the matter is we don't have that luxury. But Rutgers doesn't have that luxury either. They've got to replace a starting quarterback. So they're feeling the same things. I still think it comes down to you just got to play good football when you're on the road and play smart. And I know our kids have been there before. They've won games on the road, and they're going to have to win another one.
Popped up and Eckstein out to get it. You know, knowing all of the players on offense you have coming back, and it starts with Tony Pike, and I know he's been, you know, a preseason Big East Conference player, the offensive player of the year guy, and Marty Gilliard is back. Your line looks good. As a head football coach, if you're going to start a season, and especially with a conference game like Rutgers, would you rather have all the guys coming back on offense or your defense where you're replacing, what, 10 starters
10
from last
starters.
year?
Yeah. I'd like to have Kevin Huber back,
yeah.
The punter, because he certainly was a guy that, you know, nobody talks about the punter when you lose the punter. They go,
field position.
Exactly, and he could do that. And when you're on the road, field position is huge. So, again, I think at the end of the day, you want to be balanced. You don't want to lose 10 starters on defense and that be your opener. But we got a lot of returners on offense, so maybe we got to outscore them for a couple of games till we get our feet under there.
What do you look for? I've always wondered this from a coaching standpoint. Besides just athletes, what do you look for in a kid when you go to recruit him?
Well, it's like anything else. He's got to love to play the game. You know, if they're not passionate about playing the game, first of all, they're not going to get along with me because I want guys that are excited about playing every day. And, you know, baseball's a long season. Let's face it. It's 162 games. This is 12. So you have to have a different personality in the way you come to work every day. But with football, I want guys that are excited and love to play the game. And what we've done, our game plan is we want them local. I want these kids from this area because we can identify with them.
Since the Big East Conference Championship a year ago, can you stick around another half minute?
Absolutely, I'd love to.
Beautiful.
All right, 'cause I want to ask you about recruiting and how that's done. I just read a big publication the other day, and it looks like you're starting to get a lot of these local guys. We'll be back for the fourth, end of 3. San Diego in front 5-0. Which player did Jeff Brantley allow the most hits and highest batting average in his career?
Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. You know
I can
that for
answer
sure?
that for you. I think he had like 600.
He did that to a lot of guys.
I know. Wow.
We're joined by University of Cincinnati head football coach Brian Kelly. We were talking in between innings, and you're going to get started a week from Saturday. You'll be on campus for a few days, and you'll go over to Indiana and higher ground and work out there a couple of weeks with a little more room and practice fields and so on and so forth. But when you and I sat down to do a lengthy interview leading up to the FedEx Orange Bowl, December of last year, that was a day you were going over for the groundbreaking on the new indoor practice facility you're building over at the University of Cincinnati and the new entire practice complex. That's got to be very exciting.
It is exciting. I think it's a large commitment from the university because, as you know, we're landlocked, and you're taking a look at those facilities. That's really the last buildable area on campus at the corner of Corey and Jefferson, and Jeff and I were talking off the air. That bubble is so important. When it comes to practicing in the bad climate, and we had that going up to the Orange Bowl, you got to go in there and be able to tackle and do the things you need. So those are the pieces that continue to move this program forward. And the nice part about it is our university is committed to getting that done.
So exciting. It's so exciting. I mean, nobody wants to hear about some problems. But, you know, when I came over there to visit with you that day, it was pouring down rain when I came over in the morning. We lucked out because as the day went on, it got a little bit nicer. But, I mean, let's face it, you're getting ready for a BCS game, and you and I talked about this. And I had gone to Ohio State the 2 years prior. And, of course, they have all that business and leading up to a championship game. It is unbelievable what a disadvantage a school that doesn't have that indoor facility would be leading up to that 6-week cycle before you play in a BCS game.
Well, there's no question. And again, to be fair, I think we got this thing moving a little bit quicker than maybe anybody thought.
Right.
And the nice part about it, and where I feel really good, is our university said, hey, listen, we're going to get this done. We recognize the importance, but give us some time to put this together. It's a tough economy. Raising money is not the easiest thing to do, though we've done a great job. And for me, patience has never been one of my virtues.
Is it anybody?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's got time to worry about what you don't have. But we've done a great job in fundraising, and the support from Cincinnati guys has been terrific relative to donors coming up and really stepping up and getting this thing done.
And I know everybody was so excited at your commitment as well, Coach, because, I mean, let's face it, you know, having a chance to get out in the college world in a college game, and I mean, your name was everywhere across, you know, one end of the country to the other. Washington job, Tennessee job, Notre Dame's always out there, and you said, you know what, I like it right here.
And my wife loves where we live, and our kids love the area, and there's more to it. At the end of the day, you can be chasing that all your life, but it's quality of life. It's your kids enjoying where they are and where I am. I mean, this is a great opportunity. They're passionate about football.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they love their Reds and they love their Bengals, and high school football is big, but on a Saturday, if you put a good product on the field, they're going to come out and watch it.
Your recruiting, have you seen a difference from last year and all the success?
Absolutely. You know, obviously being in the Orange Bowl, you can obviously get kids interested.
Helps a little, huh?
Yeah, it does. Let's face it. And I know this, I'm a much better coach with better players, and we're getting better quality student athletes to be interested in Cincinnati. And
Winning takes care of a lot of things.
It really does. It creates an atmosphere where kids now want to stay home, and not everybody wants to stay home. I know when I was in college, you know, I got away, and that's okay. Some will leave Cincinnati to go to other programs, but you now have a program where you can make a choice and say, you know what, I can be in the Orange Bowl, I can go to the Sugar Bowl, and I can stay right here in Cincinnati, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Do you agree, Coach, and I've read a lot about this just in the last couple of weeks. Now, I know you haven't been around Cincinnati forever. Heck, you've only been around 3 years. But some say that this might be the best high school senior class coming out of this area in quite some time.
I got to tell you, and again, I can compare it to recruiting for the last 20 years in Texas and Florida and California, and I can tell you that the talent pool here within 100 miles of Cincinnati is as good as there is out there. And I've never seen it. Oh, well, it's like anything else. If you're in a business and you've got your best people right here, that's a good job to have. That's why I'm fortunate to be the head coach. We've got great student athletes right in this area. High school kids that can come and play at Cincinnati that live in Cincinnati. That's a good
fish
thing.
in a bucket.
That's a good thing. Really,
I'm not trying to hurt you. That's fish in a bucket. All right. We try to keep Tony Pike, take care of him back there in the pocket, and move around.
We got to keep an eye on him too.
That is a foul ball. Now on the defense.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what a group you had last year. A lot of guys, almost all those guys were here before you got here.
Yes.
Now we're going to start to see some of the guys that you've been able to bring on board the last couple of years. You replaced 10 starters. How do you look defensively?
Well, I think we're going to be bigger, faster, stronger. We're not as experienced, but at the end of the day, who knows? Those kids got to go play, and they're good enough physically. They're going to have to obviously be seasoned. They got to play a little football, but I like the physical tools that we have. I think it's like anything else, whether it's baseball or football or whatever. How are our guys going to do when they hit that first piece of adversity? You know, that first time that ball's thrown over your head and you're a corner, how are you going to deal? Or that first home run that's hit out of the stadium, not that you ever gave up any.
I gave up.
And by the way, what's the Affleck question? How can they do it? I'm glad I'm not here. We're going to throw up a question. How many losses does Coach Kelly have against? But it's how are we going to deal with adversity? That's really going to be the key. And I think if we do a good job there, we're going to be fine.
That goes back to recruiting character kids.
No question. Absolutely.
Is your team, the 2 or 3 publications I have, I've seen you anywhere from, I think, 11th to 15th in the national preseason polls. Do you think that's fair?
You know, I've never really given that much stock. I really have always felt like each year you got a different club. You got to prove again. We do not have the pedigree to go around and say, hey, you know, we've been top 20 the last 2 years. We should be ranked. We haven't done it long enough. We've got to do it every single year, like Ohio State wins the conference championship everywhere. Then you get picked. Jim would probably say, hey, I've lost more players this year than any other time, and you picked me to win the league. Well, it's because of past success. We don't have that long of a record yet. When we get to that level, I think we'll get picked consistently. But I look at it as another year, and we got some work to do.
Now, I know right here on Fox Sports Ohio, we'll have the Brian Kelly Coaches Show that I believe starts the Thursday after the first game of the season.
Yes.
And Bearcat Football Classics comes your way Monday at noon inside Bearcats Football 2009. The weekly show with Coach Kelly. Have replays. Of course, as the season goes on, we'll have the same with men's and women's basketball. And I think we have a couple of your games live here on Fox Sports Ohio this year.
Yeah.
The second and third weeks of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Oregon State game is going to be a really,
that's out there, right?
That's out there at Oregon State. And ask Pete Carroll about Oregon State. That's a tough place to play. So it'll be a pretty exciting game.
Tatum thought about going to second. He'll play to first and give the pitcher late Tosa sacrifice. 2 are out in the inning. Yeah,
the Bearcat Weekly Sports Show shown on Fox is really, you know, you talk about the little things that help in recruiting too, because it's seen all over Ohio. It gives us more of a presence now. Not
exposure.
Only, it does, not only just in Cincinnati, but now we can start to reach up. I've always felt when I first got here there was a line right about north of Dayton called the Big Ten line. They thought that only Big Ten football existed.
Right.
So with Fox and getting that exposure, we've been able to show that, well, there's Big East football too, and that's really helped us in the recruiting process.
I tell you, the job you've done, and I don't say it, you know, because you're sitting here, and having not had a chance to be around your program, I'd gone as a fan. I went to 2 games last year. You played at home, and went with some buddies and went and had a couple beers, watched the game, and cheered our tails off for you. But to be around you and your kids, you had a very impressive group of young men last year. I mean, and that's a lot to be said for them, their moms and dads.
Absolutely.
But also for the coaching staff, and I know that's a big part of the kind of person you want to bring in to play Bearcat football.
You know, we got to represent not only on the field but off the field, and I think our kids have done a great job. We've got a program called Cats in the Community, and you know, everybody's involved in the community, but I think we have a special place here at Cincinnati, and our guys are going to be involved all the time. I want guys I want tough gentlemen. I want tough guys on the field. I want gentlemen off the field, and that's worked pretty good for me over the last 19 years.
Well, Coach, thanks so much for the time. Great seeing you, man.
Good seeing
and
you.
Your wife's doing well.
She's doing
feeling
great.
good.
Yes, she is.
Right,
and you got to slow down as you jog by me. You're running way too fast.
Believe me, I'm huffing and puffing every step.
Appreciate it.
Great seeing you, Coach. Good luck this season. Brian Kelly, head man of the Cats. Peter Edward Rose in attendance. Got a standing ovation from the crowd at Great American Ballpark. The Cincinnati Kid, Western Hills High School. Great to have him in town. He popped up to the booth last night. Always enjoy seeing him.
The hit king.
Indeed he is. One and 0 on Willie Taveras, and it's lined into center field, but Gwynn is there. All right, time to answer our Aflac trivia question. It's about the Cowboy. The long and short of it is, who wore him out the most? That should just be the question. And you said it's Tony Gwynn.
Tony Gwynn. Could be somebody else.
I sure hope you get this right.
I do too. Ha ha. You know who rakes you, my friend.
He hit everybody.
Oh man, he hurt me bad.
He hurt everybody bad. I mean, if it's got to be one guy in your career, it may as well be a Hall of Famer, right?
You got that right.
And of course, that's his son.
He wasn't the only one either.
That ball launched into left center field off the bat of Hairston, and the Reds are on the board.
Hairston gets a fastball out over the plate. This kid Latos is throwing the ball awfully hard, but he's got a straight fastball. And he doesn't come in that often. You let the hitters hang out over the plate long enough, they will get you. Fastball away, stays in the middle. Good night, Irene, shall we say.
For those of you wondering, Tony Gwynn's career batting average against everybody, career, 338.
Solid.
Oh, man, that's raking. That is the first home run in quite a while for Jerry Hairston Jr. Earlier in the season, I mean, he had 7 by the end of May.
Right off the bat.
He had 7 home runs in the first 2 months of the season. That's his first home run since May the 30th. This one into short left center field. And there are 2 out in the inning. Well, you can get autographs from the entire 2009 Reds during Signature Sunday on August the 16th, and you support the Reds Community Fund by doing so. For more information on Signature Sunday and packages that are available, visit reds.com/community or call 513-765-7234. So the Reds down 5-1. We thank Brian Kelly for taking the time to join us here in the booth.
What a great guy.
Oh man, that's one impressive guy. That's a football coach. That is a head football coach.
You can just tell by talking with him both on the air and off the air. You can't build character and teach character unless you have character, and that man's got it.
He is one very impressive man. I tell you what, if I had a son that is good enough to go play college football, I would be elated.
To play for a guy like that, no doubt. No doubt.
He's won at every stop along the way, won 2 Division II national championships. At Grand Valley. And Grand Valley State University, won a Mid-American Conference championship his only year at Central Michigan. And back-to-back 10-plus win seasons, including a Big East title and a BCS berth in his first 2 years at Cincinnati. That's a head football coach.
That's a big-time teacher right there. thing about that, Tom, is he's got that brand in his head, and he just takes it wherever he goes. He knows the kind of football player that he wants, knows what he needs, and he knows how to teach.
I know he was very disappointed the way the Bearcats played in that FedEx Orange Bowl. A rare bad night for Tony Pike, the quarterback, but he's in for a big year this year. That will end the inning. And, you know, give Virginia Tech a lot of credit. That's an outstanding defensive football team under Frank Beamer. Reds on the board. They trail 5-1. The AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. All of a sudden, some dark clouds along the northwestern part of the city.
Wow.
Time for our Reds text poll question. What is the Cowboys' favorite dessert? Text 1, 2, 3, or 4 to 37664. Now take a look again. This is not a misprint. Fly ball into right center field, one out in the inning. This is not a misprint. These are all legitimate options on a nightly basis for the Cowboy. 1, bread pudding. 2, blondie brownie. 3, pecan pie. Or yes, number 4, fried chicken. Now, Cowboy, don't give it away.
I'm not.
You know, I am somewhat amazed that UDF ice cream is not a part of this equation, because for those of you that don't get a chance to listen to the Reds on radio frequently, about 3 weeks ago, Cowboy went rolling into a UDF, and he says to the fella back behind the counter, "I'd like to see how many scoops fit into one of those malt cups." So they put 6 scoops of ice cream in there, and the Cowboy knocks them back. He comes back the very next night, 24 hours later, and says, "You know what? I think we can get one more in there." So at the very bottom, they put 3 scoops of mint chocolate chip. On top of that, 3 scoops of cookies and cream. And to top it all off, sitting on top of the bottom 6, 1 more scoop of mint chocolate chip. And the Cowboy officially knocked off 13 scoops of ice cream.
48 hours. I just had that 2 nights ago. It was good.
The 7 scoop again.
Oh, man. I'm telling you.
You did it again.
Oh, yeah. It's solid. I didn't get the mint this time. I got some kind of caramel twist or something like that. It was outstanding.
Now look at the early voting. A neck-and-neck race between fried chicken And one of the southern delicacies, if it's done right.
Evidently, folks have been listening. On the right track.
I got a feeling number 4 is going to come away the win.
If I have bread pudding, I like that little sauce that they put on the top. I don't know what that's called. The Blondie Brownie, I have caramel ice cream with that. And pecan pie always with whipped cream.
Out of mode. You put ice cream on it?
And whipped cream.
We'll go vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
And whipped cream.
Yeah. Now, what about fried chicken? I mean, obviously, that's going outside the box a little bit. I mean, you finish your dinner and maybe something sweet sounds pretty good. You, on the other hand, from time to time, will turn to some fried chicken.
Well, if I'm going to sit down and have fried chicken and I've got room for dessert, well, then I'd rather have another piece of fried chicken. Let them have it, eat all the sweet stuff. I'm eating some more chicken.
And, of course, late at night, I mean, every now and again, you know, you get back, you had dinner maybe 3 hours before, you're getting ready to turn in.
Always. Nothing like going to bed on a good 3 breast and 2 wings meal. Shut her down.
There's ball 4 to Adrian Gonzalez. All right, so fried chicken is the winner. Both in the booth and in the text poll. 44%.
Chicken dinner winner. Chicken dinner winner.
And, you know, just once more for our television audience, I don't want to overdo this, and some are saying, give me a break, you've already overdone it. But I got to ask this question because I know the radio audience hears it a lot. Maybe the TV audience doesn't. When you go to Montgomery Inn here in town and you go in there for dinner and the waiter and or waitress comes over to the table, you say quickly what to them?
1 slab for dinner, 1 slab for later. Thank you very much.
1 for 9, the other for midnight.
You got it.
The next Paycor Business Day game happens tomorrow. Reds and the Padres wrapping up this series. And while you're here, enter for a chance to win tickets to the next Paycor Business Day game by stopping by the fan accommodation station. For your tickets, call 381-REDS or go to reds.com. Reds down 5-1. They come to bat against Matt Latos in the bottom of the 5th inning on Ladies' Night at the ballpark tonight. San Diego scored 5 in the opening inning. The Reds got a home run by Jerry Hairston Jr. in the 4th. After Latos had retired the first 10 batters of the night.
And Latos has just been rearing back and letting it fly.
Yeah, not a lot of guesswork with this young man.
I mean, he's just coming after you. All fastballs. He's only thrown 42 pitches thus far. He's into the 5th already.
Temperatures getting chillier literally by the minute. And that was the forecast. Is it after a warm day yesterday and a warm day today that the highs tomorrow only expected to be in the mid-70s. And some of those dark clouds passing directly above the ballpark.
Well, it's clear on one side of the park by the river. The other side of the park is dark. Look at that.
It's amazing, isn't it?
That ain't no nine.
Starting to look for Dorothy and Toto here in a minute. There's a swing and a foul ball out of play off to the first base side. It's 2-2 to Johnny Gomes.
And you.
2-2 to Johnny. And here comes the pitch. We'll do it again.
This kid does not lack any confidence. He just rears back and says, you can't hit my fastball.
Right.
mph he's topped out at. At 78. It was a breaking ball.
Again, a 2-2 to Johnny Gomes. And again, a fastball. That one at 96 miles per hour is fouled off out of play. Boy, you love it when you see a young guy come up who's been blessed with a very strong arm, a great fastball,
and he's not
nibbling
around the plate. Yeah, this guy is coming to get you. Got a little moxie inside his belly.
It's a roller foul. Threw him a breaking ball there after back-to-back 2-2 fastballs.
That's a pretty good breaking ball right there.
It must be starting to rain. Ever so lightly, but a lot of folks all of a sudden popping out of their seat and looking for cover.
They're going for the Kroger meal deal right quick.
2-2 the count. 3-2.
That's a thank you very much right there. That was a good fastball on the inside corner. You can see the Padre dugout screaming at where was that pitch.
Pitch number 10 in this at bat. Latos against Johnny Gomes. Struck him out, and that's good old country hardball right there at 96 miles per hour.
That kid did not back off 1 inch.
Well, hey, Reds fans, we invite you to stop down to Game Day Cafe Friday at 6 o'clock. Your chance to be on Reds Live asking a baseball question. Our team may answer that question on Reds Live after the game on Fox Sports Ohio. Game Day Cafe Friday at 6. The place to be. Now coming down a little bit harder. 0-1 on Encarnacion, and a fastball that's unhittable right there.
Well, he has used both sides of the plate, and when you're throwing the ball as hard as this kid is, you don't have to come in all the time. You just have to come in some, and that's what's made him so successful. Every hitter that goes up there has got to protect him.
Oh, went there again. It's 96 in on the hands, about bell high.
There's nothing you can do with it. You pull it foul.
Break it back. Try the outside corners. It's starting to really rain a little bit harder.
This kid wants to get this inning over with in a hurry.
2-2 to count.
Because this game is not official if the Reds don't get through this inning.
Well, we understand the radar doesn't look bad at all. So, I mean, hopefully this is just part of this lingering cloud cover directly above the ballpark right now. And won't hear very long. That fastball at 97. You just hope it doesn't all of a sudden decide to take a breather and just sit above the ballpark for a while.
You were right, Tom, with the term you use, good old country hardball, because that's exactly what this kid is playing. Here's my stuff. See if you can hit it.
Straight away center field, hit pretty well by Edwin. But of course, that's the deepest part at Great American Ballpark, straight away center. And they're 2 away in the inning.
That's what's so difficult about trying to hit that ball inside. In order to keep it fair, you have to inside out the ball. You've got to get your hands inside of it. Watch where this pitch is. He wanted it in, the ball's away. And you can't really take a full rip right there because you've got to protect inside in the back of your mind.
Rain already beginning to lighten up from where it was just a couple of minutes ago. Ball 1 on Alex Gonzalez. Reds with only 1 hit, a solo home run by Jerry Hairston Jr. in the 4th. And there's a breaking ball. Wow. Now you're throwing 96 in on the hands and come back with 85 on the outside edge.
And his breaking ball does not break from left to right or right to left. It breaks from the sky downwards. You get a lot of those right there. A lot of check swings because you're just not sure if it's a fastball or a breaking ball, and you don't want to be tardy inside because then you're going to be left with a handful of splinters.
Lined into straightaway center, inning over. 1-2-3 for Latos. We've played 5 in the rain. Padres lead by 4.
Fox Sports Ohio. Jim Day back with you. I'm in the press box tonight, and the Reds and the Hall of Fame have created something that the fans can get involved with the Hall of Fame inductions. They will have the normal veterans ballot, but now the fans can vote on the modern player ballot. Now it starts on Saturday, and really from August 1st through September 2nd, fans can vote on 3 of these players: Brett Boone, Norm Charlton, Danny Graves, Hal Morris, Chris Sabo, our own Jeff Brantley, the Cowboy. As you go down the list, John Franco, who used to be the all-time Red saves leader, Kevin Mitchell, Paul O'Neill, Scott Sullivan. One of these players will be chosen as part of the 2010 class. As Aaron Harang continues his work here in the 6th inning, there's a ground ball that gets by Votto and can't make the play. That will be an infield base hit. Now fans can vote here at Great American Ballpark, the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, or participating Skyline locations, or you can go online to reds.com/HOF. And again, the fans will decide this. And there are some big names right there. And again, one will be chosen. And I know he wouldn't say it himself, but Jeff Brantley, I know you've got to be proud to be amongst those names.
You got that right. Heck, just to be on the ballot is pretty good if you ask me.
Real good. Congratulations. We're rooting for you. Now, Jim Day, did I hear you correctly? Did you say only one of those players will be inducted this year to the Reds Hall of Fame?
Correct. This will go along with the veterans ballot, the normal veterans ballot. They will choose a former great of the Reds past, and they've created this modern player ballot. Well, yes, the fans will decide just one out of that group, so that is a tough decision.
Well, you won. You still hold the single-season franchise record for saves in a season. You won the Rolaids Relief Man of the Year award that year, if I'm not mistaken.
96.
96. Of course, you were the closer on the team in 95 and went to the National League Championship Series.
That's right. I think the best team that we had was in 94 when everything got shut down.
Yep.
We had a chance. We had a chance.
We thank Jim Day for bringing all of you up to speed. And again, the balloting begins in just a couple of days from now on Saturday and runs for a month. As Kyle Blanks is thrown out for the first out here in the 6th inning. Advancing on to second is Headley. We invite you to come down to the ballpark and kick off your weekend the right way. Friday night, the post-game fireworks after the Reds and the Rockies, presented by Budweiser. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or go to reds.com. Still raining lightly, but raining nonetheless. Here in the top of the 6th inning, the Padres rained on the first inning start of Aaron Harang. 5 straight batters reached base, and all 5 of them scored. A 2-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez, a 3-run home run by Kyle Blanks. Harang has only allowed 3 hits since, but the Reds have managed just 1 base running through the first 5 innings against rookie right-hander Matt Latos. That was a solo home run by Jerry Hairston Jr. Gonzalez will play to first for out number 2.
And Latos has only got, coming into this ball game, only had 9 1/3 innings in the big leagues. This is only his 3rd start. In the first one, he only went 4 innings.
So Latos on deck, and they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Everett Cabrera. When you're down by 4 and having a hard time scoring like the Reds are, you can't take a chance of a number 8 hole hitter knocking in another run.
All right, Reds fans, for a great tasting quality meal for your family, pick up a bag of JTM beef or chicken Philly cheesesteaks from your favorite grocer. JTM, food, family, and fun.
You get so excited thinking about it that you get all tongue-tied.
I know, I got my word mixed up.
You were knocking down that Penn Station before the game tonight.
I was, and that was really good. Matter of fact, that hit the spot.
Go back to the well one more time before bedtime, maybe tonight.
Well, I'm deciding on what I want to eat before I go to sleep.
You thinking about that already?
Oh yeah, you got to plan ahead. I might double down on the UDF 7 scooper.
Double down.
Yeah. Go for 14 and 24.
14 scoops
in 24 hours.
In 24 hours. That's a big league record there. Runner takes off for second, a foul ball back out of play. What would the other two options be? If you don't go the sweet route, what else?
Let's see. I like, obviously, some chicken. I would probably go and get maybe Friday's chicken wings if they're open. They might not be. So then I'd have to deviate my plan. Can always kill some skyline.
Now, see, most people, at least those that I know, their late night food of choice is pizza. You're not a real pizza guy, are you?
I like the wings part of pizza and wings. I like the wings. I just let the pizza eat. Somebody else eat that.
Okay.
Or I'll order it and just throw it away. But I like the wings. You got to, and a lot of places won't just bring wings to you. You got to order pizza and wings. So I'll order pizza and wings and just eat the wings. Nothing wrong with that, is it?
I don't think so. 0-2 the count on Latos. Runners on the corners, 2 are out. And the inning is over. Reds come to bat, bottom of the 6th, down by 4. To the Coors Light 6th inning, time for the Coors Light freeze cam. Peter Edward Rose here tonight, as he was last night, and again both nights to a standing ovation at Great American Ballpark. Our Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light on Ladies' Night at the ballpark. That young lady looks good in that ball cap, doesn't she?
I think those caps are awesome.
I do too. Goes perfectly with that pink shirt she's wearing.
I think the chocolate and the pink go good together.
Reds come to bat against Latos. Last of the 6th inning. I think the rain is biased now. I mean, it's still very dark up above us.
At least it doesn't seem like it, Franklin. Fans are starting to come back into the seats. Oh.
Pulled foul off the end of the bat by Craig Tatum. He'll be followed by Aaron Harang and then Willie Taveras. See that dark cloud still sitting, basically splitting right down the middle of the field. Clear, running basically from second to third out to right center on the first base side, and real ugly the other way towards left center.
Maybe that's some lingering effects from the first inning, because that was ugly out there, that part of the ballpark.
A 5-run opening inning for San Diego. If you're just joining us, Aaron Harang retired the very first batter of the game. Then David Eckstein doubled. Adrian Gonzalez hit a home run to left field, number 28 on the year for him. Kuzminoff followed with a single. Chase Headley was walked, and Kyle Blanks hit one nearly to Merrimont. There's a breaking ball in the dirt. 3-2 to Craig Tatum.
And it looks like Latos, even though he's only thrown 67 pitches, is not quite as crisp as he was earlier in the ball game.
Leadoff walk to Tatum, first of the night for Latos. Visit your Cincinnati area Subway restaurant. Make a $5 fielder's choice. You select any sandwich on the everyday value menu, and then choose to make it a foot-long or a 6-inch fresh value meal with chips and a drink for only $5.
Pretty good look.
So one away in the inning after the sacrifice by Harang.
At this point, all you got to do is just try to chip away and put a run on the board any way that you can. You never know when you can put a few together.
On the ground, Eckstein will throw out to Speedy Taveras. That's a nice play by David Eckstein.
I thought that was up the middle, and boy, he got over there in a hurry. Great body balance here by David Eckstein. You can see him quickly move to his right, gets the baseball, doesn't try to plant, because if you plant, you're going to end up falling trying to throw the ball. He uses his momentum going towards the bag and just cuts across his body with the throw. Great balance, great play.
So now Hairston, who accounted for the lone Reds run with a home run to left center field in the 4th inning. His 8th of the year, but his first since May the 30th.
He's the only guy to get a hit tonight. The only guy to get an RBI. Be nice if he could do it one more time.
And when the Reds get an RBI this season, that's another $25 from Shakely that goes to the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. Hairston, has he done it again? No, he has not. In the left center field, that's Gwynn, and that will end the inning. One man left. We go to the 7th. A very quiet night for the Reds on offense. They trail 5-1. Chrysler game submarine was ugly early. With one on in the first inning, a 2-run home run by Adrian Gonzalez. 3 batters later, a 3-run blast by Kyle Blanks. And San Diego led 5-0. The only Reds run came in the 4th, a home run by Jerry Hairston Jr. In fact, it's one of just 2 base runners against the very impressive rookie right-hander Matt Lachos. He has struck out 3, walked 1, allowed the 1 run on 1 hit through the front 6 innings. And with where his pitch count is now, it is hard to believe that he would be leaving this game.
Well, he's still hitting 97. And with the fact that he's only walked 1 guy, came in the last inning. Got to believe Buddy's going to leave him in there. Buddy Black, the manager for the Padres.
A leadoff single by Tony Gwynn starts the 7th inning. Aaron Harang has allowed just 4 hits since that 5-run 4-hit first inning. Just beyond the reach of the diving Brandon Phillips. Ball 1 to David Eckstein.
And on the other hand, talking about pitch counts, Harang is now at 104. He will throw his 105th pitch.
I don't believe anybody is getting loose out there, as that one is lined to Votto, and that's a double play with a runner on the go.
Well, this is one break that has gone the Reds' way tonight. If that ball gets by Votto, that might have been foul. Looked like the ball was headed towards the tarp. Votto caught it on its way.
So the base is wiped clean, and now that'll bring Gonzalez to the plate. He's had a perfect night. A 2-run home run to left, a single to right, drew a walk in the 5th inning. Gonzalez, not only a big slugger, an outstanding defender, won the Gold Glove at first base a season ago. I didn't see that answer to the scoreboard stumper tonight. That was a good question. I know who 3 of them are, and I don't know who the other 2 are. There have been 5 first basemen in National League history that have won the Gold Glove whose last name begins with G. Gonzalez last year. Mark Grace won a couple.
Garvey.
Steve Garvey. Those were the 3 I knew, but I couldn't put together any of the others.
Galarraga.
Probably a good guess. That ball tomahawked right at Gomes and right to retire the side. 5-1 San Diego lead. Time for the 7th inning stretch, presented by Cincinnati Bell. On Fox Sports Ohio, check out MLB.tv. For more details, visit Reds.com, where baseball is always on. Welcome back to the ballpark. Great American ballpark in downtown Cincinnati. The Reds have some work to do, and 3 innings to try and get it done on ladies' night of the ballpark tonight. Trailing Matt Latos and the Padres 5-1.
The Padres have Luke Gregerson getting loose in their bullpen.
Votto, a lazy fly ball to straightaway center field. It's been a rough couple of nights for Joey Votto. It's the first time all year long that he has really not hit the ball, squared the ball up with regularity. And 1 hit, a soft single in the center field, and 4 at-bats last night, thrown out the night before. His first at-bat tonight, he did line out to center, but a pair of pop-ups ever since. Of course, Jerry Crawford threw Votto out of the game in his very first at-bat 2 nights ago.
I've been impressed with this Matos tonight. Latos, excuse me. Matt Latos, I got his name wrong.
Oh, he has been very, very impressive.
I think you can, if you're watching him, whether you're on the Padres club or you're on the Reds club, you got a young pitcher out there on the mound that is very relaxed. He's proud of his fastball. But the one thing that he's done all night long is he's thrown strikes and he's challenged the hitters. He's only walked 1 guy and he's only given up 1 hit. So if you throw strikes and you challenge the hitters, it only makes sense that if you're talented, you're going to get people out with some regularity. And if you're not talented, you wouldn't be here.
Saw Buddy Black down there, the manager of the San Diego Padres.
He's my teammate.
And that's his bench coach. Well, what a player he was, Ted Simmons. Man, could he hit. Former switch hitter, played 21 major league seasons, an 8-time All-Star, career batting average of .285, and knocked in almost 1,400 runs in his career.
And this kid is still pitching inside. That pitch right there just ate Brandon Phillips up. Good hard fastball right on his hands at 96 miles an hour. And here he is, Latos, in the 7th inning. 78 pitches. That's all he's thrown, Tom.
Down the right field line towards the corner, and that is a foul ball. You know, getting back to Ted Simmons for a minute, I got to tell you, Cowboy, I had forgotten. I knew he was an outstanding hitter. I mean, you can make a very strong argument for Ted Simmons being in the Baseball Hall of Fame. When you consider the demanding position he played as catcher, his 1,389 RBIs are 4th all-time among switch hitters. The only 3 switch hitters in the game to knock in more runs than him: Eddie Murray, Mickey Mantle, and George Davis. He played in 8 All-Star games. 14th on the all-time list for catchers. Nearly 1,200 games played. Swing and a miss by Phillips. I mean, played for a world champion. He was a starting catcher on that, or American League champion, Milwaukee Brewers team.
I've always thought he was a phenomenal player. I know when I was growing up, he was awesome. He was a great catcher. I mean, it was Johnny Bench, and then you looked across the lake to the American League, and this guy was hammering it.
Of course, he had a lot of great years with the St. Louis Cardinals. Tell you, some guys might want to start taking a look at some of his numbers. When a catcher knocks in almost 1,400 runs in a career,
that's a whole lot.
That's getting it done.
It's amazing. Because normally for a catcher, if you catch and are still productive after your 8th full season, you've done something.
2-1 to Johnny Gomes. He was never known as a big power guy, but he drove in a lot of runs because he was such a good hitter. Told you, career 285, but he did have home run seasons at 26, 22, 23. He knocked in over 100 runs in a season 3 times, knocked in 90 or more 8 times. Pretty good.
Clutch hitter.
Two and one to Johnny Gomes. Good breaking ball there. Back when Ozzie Smith was playing for the Padres, Ted Simmons, also very good behind the plate. Oh. Plato thought that was the end of the 7th.
Well, we'll see a lot of this kid for years to come. He keeps throwing the ball like this.
Comebacker to the mound. 7 innings of 1-hit, 1-run baseball for Latos. 5-1 San Diego in front. By your local Ford dealer in the Ford F-150 2009 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. And by your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealer, visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers. Ladies' night at Great American Ballpark tonight. And look at the big fella still going strong there. He's a diehard, you can tell. Ball 1 to Kevin Kuzminoff. Aaron Harang still on the mound. As we start the 8th inning. Harang gave up the 5 runs and 4 hits in the first inning. He has allowed 4 hits in the 6 innings combined since. But damage early. It's something we talked about before he ever threw a pitch tonight. But Aaron Harang, Bronson Arroyo, and Johnny Cueto have 3 of the top 5 highest batting averages against the first time through the lineup among all National League starting pitchers. Talked about the Reds in their first inning run differential this year, the worst in Major League Baseball, the worst. They were outscored by 29 runs going into the game tonight, so make that minus 34 after a 5-run first.
mean, that is by far, not by a little bit, it is by far the 89 runs the Reds have allowed now in the first inning. More than any other inning the rest of the game all year. I mean, the rest of the numbers look like 47, 56, 45, 59, 64, 42, 41, 28. I know that's getting a little dizzy with all those numbers, but the point being, not any inning
it's almost
is that number 60. Not one inning.
Almost double in the first.
Is it more than 59? And the Reds are at 89. And really through the history of baseball, or since they've been, paying attention to it statistically, on average, and this year it's slightly above average, but it's going to end up being right where it's always been. Right around 66-67% of the time, the team that scores first in a major league game wins the game. Across the board, there will be some teams that will have, a off the charts record where maybe they've fallen behind. Of course, they score a ton of runs, they'll come back if they give up 2 in the first inning. You can rest assured it'll be a high scoring team.
Like the Phillies.
Yeah, like the Phillies. They've given up a lot of runs, their pitching ERA. But again, the average across the board of the 32 teams in baseball, that's what it will be. "30 teams in baseball." I said 32.
The thing that amazes me about that number, Tom, is when you look back at what was really supposed to be a core strength of this ball club, it was starting pitching and the bullpen. And yet those numbers are not good. And if the statistics bear that out, and you're starting behind in your ball game's at least a third of the time, tough to win. Especially with a team that's having difficulty scoring runs anyway. And then you add the additional pressure of having to play catch up in the ball game. Wow.
Hooked into right field, a base hit by Headley. Stopping at second base, Kuzminoff, and the first 2 on here in the San Diego 8th inning. And that's going to do it for Aaron Harang. Harang goes 7+ innings tonight. Allows 9 hits. Josh Renicky ready in the bullpen. Harang walks 4, 1 intentionally, and fans 5. And the question again becomes, will this be the final time that Aaron Harang will start a game for the Cincinnati Reds? Not going to meet a better guy in the world than Aaron Harang. If it is, we wish him well. And again, we hope it's not. We don't know if it will be.
Well, he's one of the best that I know, both on and off the field.
No question about it.
Win, loser.
Mega $1 Million jackpot all the way up to $73 million. Talk about it all the time. You can't win if you don't play. Hello, ladies. Ladies' night tonight at Great American Ballpark. Hopefully they're all having a good time tonight.
They've got a ball. They got a foul ball.
Did they?
Yeah, they were showing it.
Night is over for Aaron Harang. He'll give way, trailing 5-1. All 5 runs came in the first inning.
Josh Renicky, 11th timeout. He's got that breaking ball there, and he's got a fastball around 94, 95, sometimes a little bit higher than that. Maybe a closer one day on this ball club.
Certainly Buddy Black has to look out on the mound and, you know, think about the years going by as he gets a look at Renicky. Of course, Renicky's uncle was on the same coaching staff as Buddy Black under Mike Scioscia with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He's known this young man practically his entire life. Very good numbers for Renicky against the first batter that he faces when he comes into a game. He gets ahead 0-2 on Kyle Blanks and misses with a breaking ball away.
Well, once Renicky came up with that breaking ball, not only did he start pitching better, but his numbers, strikeout numbers and walk numbers, really started to separate in the right direction. Walks went down, strikeouts went up.
Swing and a miss.
Slider from Renicky. Kyle Blanks trying to chase it. This ball's 88, 90 miles an hour. You can see where the ball starts in the center of the plate. And not only does it have that good sharp downward movement, but it also exits stage left off the plate.
So 1 away in the inning, and now Eliezer Alfonso looks at a fastball high. San Diego with as many base runners in this inning as the Reds have had all night. A home run by Jerry Hairston Jr. in the 4th inning, a walk in the 6th, and that has been all for the Reds offensively. One and one to Alfonso.
You watch Renicky, when he starts, he really gets back on that backside to drive the ball homeward. And even though it looks as though he finishes towards the first base side, that's only his follow through actually pushing him that way. When he finishes, it's directly towards home plate. Look at that pitch there. Much bigger breaking ball, almost a curve ball as he gets around the side of that one a little bit, and the bottom fell out of it.
Could be 2. There's 1, and Phillips couldn't get rid of the ball. Looked like he almost jumped too early.
Not sure what happened right there. It almost looked as though he didn't realize the runner was going to be on top of it, or he wasn't aware of the outs. That's usually a tailor-made double play. See the ground ball to Encarnacion. He makes a pretty decent throw. Phillips just didn't realize the runner was on top of it. But you gotta get rid of that ball quicker than that.
Everett Cabrera with runners on the corners and 2 away. Renicky should be out of the inning. This ball is lifted a ton into left field, and it is over the head of Hairston. 1 run going to score, so the double play, you don't turn. I mean, it doesn't come any more routine than that for a guy, a catcher, who doesn't run well at all. The Reds can't turn a double play. It allows Cabrera to come to the plate, and he makes it a 6-1 game.
And, you know, that goes back to talking about execution, and I don't care if it's 5-1 or if it's 1-1. If you don't execute, you're going to pay for it, and it shows up immediately when the Reds don't turn the double play. And there's no excuse not to turn that double play. That's a routine double play.
Will Venable going to come up and bat for Lates, and this one thrown all the way back to the screen will bring in another run, and that makes it 7-1 San Diego. That'll be a wild pitch.
Wow, that was a breaking ball that came out of his hand. Looked like it came out of his hand too soon. Looked like a knuckle curveball. He spikes that finger, the index finger, on the breaking ball. And when he spikes that finger, it looked like the ball just came out too early.
What a night for Matt Latos. 7 innings of 1 hit, 1 run baseball. He strikes out 4 and walks only 1. And you said it, Cowboy. That young man stays healthy. He's got a chance to be mighty good for the San Diego Padres.
He really does. He's got a good breaking ball, good fastball. And we were talking about Josh Renicky on the mound. The reason that ball comes out of his hand sometimes is he's holding it with this finger, the index finger, spiked on the seam here, and then the other finger, the middle finger, going down that seam there. Well, if the finger that's on the ball slips, or this finger comes out too soon, the index finger comes out too soon, the ball will fly out. The ball flies out too soon. And for Josh, when he started to let go of the ball, this finger fell off of the ball and it just shot out of his hand off to the side, off to the third base side. Nothing he could do about it. You've got to make sure that you have a firm grip on that ball, or it's going to come out way too soon. And especially on a night like tonight, where you may have, the grass may be a little bit wet, you may get a damp baseball. You've got to make sure you got a solid grip between your middle finger and your thumb.
We'll close the book on Aaron Harang. 7+ innings, 9 hits, 7 runs, all of them earned runs. Whereas it should have been 5 runs had the Reds turned the most basic double play ball chance that really you could even draw a one-hopper to the third baseman with the catcher running from the right side of the plate. And 2 on Will Venable. We'll do it again.
You really have to give Headley some credit for getting down onto the second baseman as fast as he did. He's the one that broke up the double play.
Inning over. 2 more runs for San Diego. A couple of hits, they leave a man. After 7.5, 7-1, Padres in front. National League Division races presented by Honda going into play tonight. Philly a 7-game lead over the Marlins. The Cubs won earlier today. The Dodgers are leading St. Louis 1-0 that game in the 5th inning. The Dodgers 7.5 better than the Giants. The Giants won earlier today over the Pirates 1-0. So they picked up a half game over Colorado. The Rockies are still in a rain delay in New York. Boy, it's been raining seemingly all summer long in New York. They've got another game tomorrow, and obviously that is the only Rockies trip into New York this season. And it looks like the Rockies are going to be in contention the entire year, the remainder of this year, for that wild card race. So they may have to play a doubleheader tomorrow before they come to Cincinnati to start a weekend series on Friday night. High fly ball off the bat of Edwin Encarnacion. Pitching change made by San Diego.
Greg Burke in the ball game.
Yep.
Right-hander, 2-3, 4.05 earned run average. Right-handed batters only hit 172, but from the left side, the batters are hitting 339. 23 of his ball games out of the 31 he's pitched in, no runs.
Has to be especially deflating for this Reds team. I mean, they, obviously took a lot of hits on that last road trip, going 0-6. But you come back home and you're going to take on a team that has struggled far worse than you have. This San Diego team, before this series began, of course, had won a total of 38 games the entire year. 3 of them over the Reds. Tonight they're in line to get their 40th win, and it would be 5 of the 40 against the Reds.
Well, the Padres club looks like they're playing with a little bit more fervor and a little bit more excitement than what you see out of the Reds. And I guess that's when you're winning, things go a little bit better for you. And when you start the ball game in the hole by 5, it makes it a whole heck of a lot tougher to have a little giddy up in your step.
Well, you know that Dusty Baker is tossing and turning every night.
I can't imagine.
Cowboy, you played on some very good teams. You played on some very bad teams.
Yes, I have.
And
both sides.
You always ask the question when you're going through times like this, what is a manager to do? You got a lot of guys beat up. You got a lot of guys hurt. But tonight is the 100th game of the year. You have 62 more to go.
And the thing about it is a manager can only do so much. You only have so many names that you can put in a lineup, so many names you can pull out of a hat and throw them up on a dartboard. The bottom line when it really comes down to it is you got to pitch, you got to hit, you got to catch the baseball. And the Reds aren't doing a real good job in any of those right now.
Well, we understand the Rockies and Mets have officially been postponed. We're talking about that game and certainly how it affects, or if at all, will affect the Reds in the weekend series here against Colorado. Obviously, when you're a Western Division team, then you are forever and a day, seemingly, when you're on one of those planes flying from Denver to New York. The last thing in the world you want to do later in the year, and obviously the Western teams have to make far more trips to the Midwest and the East Coast than the Midwest teams and East Coast teams do to the West Coast. So you'll always find a day where you can make up a game if you got to do it, but it's like the worst thing in the world that you want to do, especially when you are a contending team.
I can remember playing in San Francisco. It seemed like whenever you would take an East Coast trip, it was so draining, not only physically, but just mentally. A couple of days seemed like weeks.
You've done both like I've done both. You've been with the Western Division team. I was in Arizona forever. And I mean, just the travel for those teams alone. No one is worse than Seattle. I mean, by far, they travel more miles than anybody else. That place is seemingly an entirely different country, traveling from Seattle to the rest of the American League cities where they go play, and how much further they are away than everybody else. But when you're one of the Western Division teams in either league, I mean, instead of like the Reds on an off day, if they're going to play, you know, Milwaukee, New York, Houston, Miami, on an off day, if you're not playing a series till a Tuesday night, you may not leave Monday until, you know, 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Not in San Francisco.
Hour and a half flight, you get in just in enough time to get dinner and go to bed. You play on a Western team, as Gonzalez takes a peek out at the pitcher. That was a breaking ball. He wasn't trying to hit him with that pitch. But when you're a Western Division team and all of a sudden you're going to play in Cincinnati or New York or Philadelphia, pick any of them, doesn't make any difference. I mean, that off day, you're not getting to spend an extra 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 hours with your family. You're leaving at 10 o'clock in the morning.
You're spending your day on the airplane.
And when you land, of course, it's 8 o'clock at 9 o'clock at night because of the time difference. That's why I've always wondered why the Eastern teams, some Eastern teams, struggle so much when they go play out west. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense at all. Yeah, your body clock's going to be a little out of whack. There's no debate about that. But all the conditions are so much better to play in.
Your body clock goes backwards, not adding an extra 3 hours to your day like you do when you come from west to east. I think it was much tougher playing in San Francisco than playing in an East Coast team.
That ball lined hard into right field, but the 6'6" blank's able to reach up in the air and haul it in for out number 2. Don't forget about the top 50 countdown on the Best Sports Show period coming your way weeknights on Fox Sports Ohio, presented by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Lance Nick's going to come up and pinch hit for Renicky.
Seems like every one of these young pitchers that the Padres run out there are throwing the ball in the low to mid 90s and have some pretty good movement on their fastball.
One inning, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts for Josh Renicky. One and one on Lance Nicks. Reds batting in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing 7-1. They've been outscored 7-1. They've been out hit 10-1. Boston getting drilled again tonight. They're trailing Oakland a count of 8-3. I tell you what, that New York Yankee team, if somebody would have told you 2 months ago
I'd have never thought it,
that at the end of play, nearing the end of July, they would open up a 3.5 game lead over the Boston Red Sox, I think you said it best. You'd have never believed it. I mean, they are winning every night seemingly. They stubbed their toe last night.
and I really thought that Smoltz would do better, and he really hasn't helped them at all.
Yankees shutting out Tampa Bay tonight 4-0. That game in the 8th inning. Nick's almost hitting the back with a fastball. Yankees have only lost 2 games since the All-Star break.
It's amazing.
Well, I mean, you go back over the long haul. They've only lost 11 games since the beginning of June.
They hit the baseball. They put runs on the board every single night. And they don't put them on there in the ninth inning. They put them on there right out of the gate.
Foul out of play. Of course, Detroit, the leaders of the American League Central Division, 2 better than Chicago and Minnesota. White Sox and the Twins tonight are tied at 2. Detroit is winning big over Texas. The White Sox have lost 13 of their last 15 games in the Metrodome. That has been a house of horror for Ozzie Guillen's team.
But that has always been a source of big time help for the Twins, is being able to win at home on a regular basis. You can count on it.
3-2 the count on Nix, and it's in the air down the left field line, and over to make the play in fair territory is Headley, and that'll end the 8th. 1 man left. We go to the 9th. 7-1 San Diego. Back in the first inning, a laser off the bat of Votto and run down by Tony Gwynn. A John Morrell hot dog play of the game. So the top of the 9th inning coming your way. The Reds are down 7-1, and their 3rd pitcher brought on tonight is right-hander Carlos Fisher. Fisher's looked very good of late.
Well, he's throwing a lot more strikes. The fastball he's always been able to control down and away with pretty good velocity. Now he's getting a little more confident with the breaking ball, getting it over the plate with some regularity. And when you can change speeds like that, he's starting to get some guys out and feeling a little bit better about his success rate.
Ball 1 up and away to Tony Gwynn. Will be followed by David Eckstein and Adrian Gonzalez. Gwynn singled his last time up, his only hit in 4 at bats tonight. Well, through all the tough times the Reds have gone through here recently, you know, we started to talk about last night. Some of the bright spots on this Reds team, and certainly a lot of young pitchers have come up and they've not established themselves, but they're certainly going in that direction as being very productive major league pitchers. I mean, guys you could count on to be a big part of your team to stronger and lesser extent, you know, as we move forward. Carlos Fisher and Josh Greinke and Daniel Ray Herrera.
How about Herrera? Who now, nobody gave him a real chance going into spring training of making this ball club. But not only did he make it, he's pitched as well as anybody on this staff for the most part.
Certainly Nick Massett is a guy who's become, although not in the same, inexperienced boat of Herrera, Fisher, and Renicky, is a guy who certainly has gotten himself in a major way on the radar.
He's made every one of the younger pitchers seem like they've made some strides.
But the guys you were counting on, and I'm going to take Rhodes, Weathers, and Cordero out of this mix.
Well, they've all been.
Yeah, I mean, they've
perfect.
been around. They've been through all the, the good, the bad, and the ugly in Major League Baseball. But you start looking at some of these other guys, and even before they got hurt, and you say to yourself, okay, who's gotten better as the season's gone on? Arroyo, Jared Burton, Cueto, Harang. Lincoln's been hurt. Micah Owings.
All of those are no's.
Edinson Volquez has been hurt a lot. And those were the guys the Reds not only were counting on, as there's a very nice double play. Turned Phillips, Gonzalez to Votto. I mean, these are guys they were really counting on, and guys that were very good the first couple of months of the year.
You're right. The four guys that are in the starting rotation: Owings, Arroyo, Harang, Cueto. They have not thrown the ball. They have not pitched at all since the end of May.
Fly ball to Raya, left field. That'll be caught by Harrison on the track off the bat of Gonzalez, 2 in the inning. And the Reds will come to bat in the bottom of the ninth, trailing 7-1. Movers keeping businesses on the move. And by the Basement Guys. Enter to win the free basement giveaway from the Basement Guys. To enter, go to thebasementguys.com.
Buddy Black has brought on Mike Ekstrom. Get a little work in. ERA is a little bit high right now, but he doesn't walk anybody. He's got 17 strikeouts and only 5 walks and 14 in the third inning. Talking about our starting pitching again and how the difficulties have come about since the end of May. You take about 3 or 4 ball games away, especially the couple of big starts by Bronson Arroyo where he threw really shutout baseball. It's been tough, and that's just a part of the game that you just didn't think was going to be a deficit.
I mean, barring a miracle comeback here tonight, Aaron Harang has still not won a game. He got his 5th win of the season back in the month of May. There's a bouncing ball to the shortstop. Tavares retired. Don't forget, Saturday, National Game of the Week on Fox comes your way. Some will see the Dodgers in Atlanta, others the Yankees and the White Sox. 4 o'clock Eastern time on Fox. Check the local listings for the game and start time in your area. The last time Aaron Harang won a game, that was the game, if you remember, where Harang went 4 2/3 innings against the Houston Astros. He gave up 10 hits in that game. We had a 2-hour and 3-minute rain delay, and he talked Dusty Baker into letting him come out after the rain delay and get one more out to qualify for the win. Dusty went along with the program. Harang got the final out and has not won a game since. His next start was 4 1/3 innings, gave up 12 hits and 8 earned runs. He pitched 2 brilliant games in a row. Really had a nice run of it in the month of June. 3 innings. Next start, no runs, had a blown save. That was a game at Washington with a long rain delay hit, and then Cordero could not nail it down. The start against Atlanta, when he went to 2 innings, threw 15 straight strikes to open the game. It was rained out. Then against the White Sox, 7 innings, 3 runs. But ever since then, the run totals read as follows. This is since June. 7, 2 and 3, but 5, 4, 4, tonight 7. So he's not been horrible, but in none of those starts has Aaron Harang picked up a victory.
But for a guy that should be one of your top starters, 4 runs after a 7-run output just doesn't make sense.
Comebacker to the mound. Ekstrom will throw out Jerry Hairston Jr., who owns the only Reds hit in the game, that home run to left center field back in the 4th inning, and the Reds are down to their final out of the night. Well, no one more frustrated than Dusty Baker. His team an out away from slipping to a season high 10 games under 500
at the 100-game mark.
Yep.
Did not see this one coming.
On the ground to third, and for the first time since September of 2007, the Reds are held to 1 hit in a game. 7-1 the final. Outstanding starting pitching from Bud Black's rookie right-hander Matt Latos. He was just